Let me ask you straight. How many times have your emotions hijacked your life? Not just a little mood swing. I mean the kind where you knew better, but you still blew up. You swore you'd stay calm, but one stupid comment and you're snapping. You promised yourself you'd push through, but fear whispers, one what if, and suddenly you're frozen. Or grief blindsides you with a smell, a song, a memory, and it knocks you flat. You know that version of you isn't who you want to be, but in the moment, it feels like you don't even get a vote. Like your emotions just grab the wheel, shove you in the passenger seat, and take you for the ride you didn't sign up for. That's the tyranny of emotion. It doesn't knock politely. It kicks the door in, starts running the house, and leaves you cleaning up the mess later. And most of us, we just let it happen. We live conquered by it. But that's not the end of the story. It doesn't have to stay that way. By the time we're done here, I'm going to give you something you can actually use. Not a slogan, not a pep talk. A real tool you can start practicing today. Something to help you keep your hands on the wheel even when your emotions come in swinging. So if you're tired of being yanked around by anger, paralyzed by fear, or gutted by grief, keep listening. This one's for you. Pause for a second. When's the last time this happened to you? Not a vague example. The last real one. Was it this week? Yesterday? Maybe you're sitting in it right now. Name it. Call it out in your head. That's where this episode starts for you. And hey, just a quick correction. If you were here for the first episode, you probably caught me botching the title. I called it The Conquered Mind, even titled this series as that, but that's not exactly inspiring or what it was supposed to be. But maybe that slip shouldn't be wasted because that's where most of us start, conquered. This series is about the fight to flip it from conquered to unconquered. So welcome back, episode 2, The Tyranny of Emotions. In this series, The Unconquered Mind. Before we jump in, quick disclaimer. This podcast isn't therapy. I'm not your therapy buddy, and we're not going to trauma bond. What I share here comes from my experience and observations. If you're wrestling with emotions that feel too heavy to carry alone, reach out to a qualified professional. Call 988. Do something and get the support you need and deserve. This podcast is fuel for growth, but it's not a substitute for help. Let's make this more relatable to something most of us have all lived through. Picture this. You've been grinding at work for weeks on a project. Late nights, early mornings, doing everything you can to make it perfect. You finally send it in, and your boss skims it, shrugs, and moves on like it was nothing. No thank you. No recognition. Just silence. And what happens? Anger kicks the door in. Or maybe it's disappointment. Or even shame. Suddenly, you're spinning, thinking, why do I even bother? Nobody sees what I do. Nothing I do really matters. Then the dominoes start to fall. You take that mood home. You snap at your partner. You zone out on your kids. You lose a whole evening. Not because of the project, but because of how the emotion hijacked you afterwards. We've all been there. Maybe it wasn't work for you. Maybe it was a relationship where you gave everything and received nothing in return. Or a friendship where you expected loyalty and got betrayed instead. Same thing. The emotion shows up, grabs the wheel, and suddenly you're reacting in ways that don't even fit who you want to be. But here's the thing. That boss's reaction wasn't in your control. That partner's silence wasn't in your control. What was in your control? Whether the emotion that came out of it got to run the rest of your day. That's the battle. Not pretending you don't feel, but refusing to hand it the throne. Think about your version of that. Where is it played out for you? Work? Family? A friend who left you hanging? What did the emotion actually cost you? A conversation? A whole night? Maybe even more. And be honest, was that really about them? Or about the fact you let the emotion drive you? Here's the thing about emotions. They don't knock. They don't creep in politely and ask, "Hey, mind if I screw up your day?" Nope. They kick the damn door in, they flip the table, and before you even realize it, they're fucking running the show. And most of us, we just hand them the damn crown. We let our emotions rule us like tyrants. Anger flares, so we blow up. Fear whispers, so we freeze. Grief hits, so we shut down. And we act like we didn't even have a choice. But we did. Let's be real. How many bridges have you burned because you thought your anger was necessary? How many opportunities have you missed because fear talked louder than your courage? How many people have you pushed away because your pain made the decisions for you? That's the tyranny I'm talking about. Tyrants don't ask for permission. They seize control. They tell you who to be, how to react, what to ruin. And if you don't fight back, they'll run your life until there's nothing left standing. And here's the ugly part. Most of us don't even notice. We just say, "Well, that's how I felt, so that's what I did." As if feelings were commands carved into stone. But think about it. If every emotion you ever had was law, your life would be nothing but wreckage. Look back for a second. That job you lost, that relationship you torched, that friend you don't talk to anymore, how much of that was because emotions were calling the shots and you let them? That's not bad luck. That's not fate. That's you, conquered. And if that stings a little, good. It should, because that's the point. You can't fight what you won't admit. You've been living like your emotions are rules, not signals. And the only way to flip that script is to finally see it for what it is, a tyranny. So let's get honest about what that looks like in everyday life. Not in theory, not in some motivational poster, in your actual world, the job, the relationship, the stuff that matters. Because if you can see it there, then you can start fighting it there. Stop here. How many times have you told yourself, "That's just how I felt, so that's what I did"? How many times did that line destroy something you cared about? That's not honesty. That's chains. And unless you name them, you'll keep wearing them. Here's another one most of us have lived. You're in a relationship. Doesn't matter if it's with a partner, a friend, or family. You send a text, then you wait. No reply. An hour goes by, then 2. You check your phone 10 times, maybe even more. By the 3rd hour, you're not just waiting, you're pissed. Or you're spiraling. You start writing stories in your head. They're ignoring me. They don't care. Something must be wrong. Maybe I did something. Before you know it, you're pacing the room, replaying the last conversation, scrolling their social media for clues like you're a detective in a bad TV show. By the time they finally text back with something normal, nothing dramatic, you already lived 3 alternative realities in your head and wrecked your own mood for the entire day. That's how fast emotions hijack you. One unanswered text, one delay, and suddenly, you're not running your life anymore. Your emotions are. What's your version of that unanswered text? Where do you spiral the fastest? Silence? Rejection? Being overlooked? What's the trigger that hijacks you before you even know what's real? Don't dodge this one, because that trigger owns you until you name it. Here's the part that's going to sting. That silence on the other end of the phone, out of your control. It always was. But what you did with it, the hours you wasted pacing, the imaginary arguments you built in your head, the way you snapped at someone who had nothing to do with it, that was all you. That was your choice, whether you saw it or not. And let's be real, it's not just one text. It's not just one day. Think about how many bridges you've scorched because you fired off a message you couldn't take back. How many doors you've closed because fear convinced you not to knock. How many people you've pushed away because your pain spoke louder than your patience. That's the cost of living conquered. It's not small. It's years off your life. It's chances you'll never get back. It's relationships that won't come around again. And if you're honest, some of that wreckage you're standing in right now. It's not because life was unfair. It's because you let your emotion run the empire while you sat back and watched. And here's the brutal truth. If you keep obeying your emotions like they're law, they'll rule until there's nothing left worth ruling. That's why this matters. Because the fight isn't out there. It's in here. And the tyrant isn't your boss or your partner or your past. It's the voice inside that says, I felt it, so I had to do it. That's the lie that's been conquering you. And if you don't kill that lie, it'll keep conquering everything you care about. Yep, that probably stung a little. Good. It means you're waking up now. But here's the part you need to hold on to. You are not powerless. You don't have to keep living conquered. Emotions, they aren't going anywhere. They'll always show up. But you don't have to let them run your life. You can fight back. And the way you do it isn't complicated. It's practice. So here's the tool. Premeditation. Sounds fancy, but it's simple. It's just training yourself to expect the emotional ambushes before they hit. Think about your day. Where do the tripwires usually show up? The coworker who always takes credit? The partner who forgets something important? The silence when you wanted validation and didn't get it? You already know where the ambushes are, so stop pretending you don't. Here's what you do. Take 5 minutes in the morning. It doesn't even have to be formal. Just while you're making coffee. And run through them in your head. Picture the moment. Feel the emotion as if it's happening right now. And then, this is the key. Decide in advance how you're going to respond. Because if you wait until the moment, you're already behind. Emotions are faster than reason. They'll always swing first. But if you've trained, if you've pre-decided, if you've put in the work ahead of time, you've got a counterpunch already. So when anger flares, instead of snapping, you pause. When fear whispers, you take the step anyway, because you already saw this coming. When grief lands, you let it hurt, but you don't let it shut you down. That's the practice. 5 minutes a day. Picture the ambush. Train your response over and over until it becomes the new normal for you. Here's the truth. You don't beat emotions by pretending you don't feel them. You beat them by refusing to obey them. Take 10 seconds right now. Picture your ambush. The one always gets you. Now, what's the move you wish you'd made last time? That's your training. That's where tomorrow starts. Let me cut through the noise for a second. Ask yourself this. What emotion has been running your life? Don't dress it up. Don't make it pretty. Call it what it is. Is it anger? The fire that makes you blow up and then stand in the ashes of everything you just burned? You tell yourself you were just being honest. But really, you were conquered. Is it fear? The voice that talks you out of every chance, every risk, every dream, and convinces you to settle for scraps. You say you're being careful, but really, you were conquered. And then there's the emotion born from being gaslighted, that slow erosion of trust in your own mind. You start second guessing everything. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I didn't see it right. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Fear locks you down. Shame creeps in. Suddenly you're apologizing for things you didn't even do. Shrinking in conversations you should have stood tall in. And over time, you stop trusting yourself. You let someone else's version of reality conquer your own. 5 years of that, you don't just lose confidence, you lose yourself. You stop making moves. You stop speaking up. You stop believing your perspective matters. That's not peace. That's not love. That's conquest. Your own identity stolen because you let their manipulation set the terms of your life. Or is it grief? The weight that robs you of the present, makes you a ghost in your own life, steals years you'll never get back. You say you're just processing, but really, you were conquered. Perhaps it's shame, the quiet one, the assassin, the one that convinces you you're unworthy, so you sabotage yourself before anyone else even gets the chance. You say you're being realistic, but really, you were conquered. I could keep going on and on with emotions, but I think you can get the point and form your own examples. Now here's the part that's going to hurt. Look at your own life and tell me the truth. How many bridges have you torched because you let anger decide your words? How many doors have you left closed because fear told you weren't ready? How many nights have you wasted in silence because grief locked you down? How many chances have you destroyed before they even started because shame whispered you weren't enough? How many times have you doubted your own reality because gaslighting convinced you to question what you knew was true? This isn't abstract. It's your job you lost, your relationship that collapsed, your kids who tiptoe around you, your potential that rotted on the vine. That's the cost of living conquered. Not someday, right now. And if you're brave enough, you already know exactly where it's happening. So here's the real question. How long are you going to keep obeying the tyrant? How many more years are you going to hand over to an emotion that doesn't give a damn about your future? Because here's the truth. Emotions aren't the enemy. They're the signals. But the second you treat them like orders, you lose. You hand the throne to something that doesn't deserve it. You do so by not doing anything. No action on your part to stop it is an action to let it rule. An unconquered mind? It refuses. It listens. It feels, but it chooses. Every damn time. That's the difference. That's the fight. Don't rush past this shit. Sit in it. It's not going to be comfortable, but it wasn't meant to be. It's meant to work. What emotion has been conquering you? Say it out loud if you need to. And ask yourself, if nothing changes, Where will that same emotion have you in 5 years from now? That's it. The tyranny of emotion. If you're pissed right now, good. If you feel called out, even better. Because this isn't about being comfortable. It's about ripping the blindfold off and seeing the wreckage you've left emotions cause in your life. Look around. The broken trust. The silence in relationships that used to be alive. The nights you can't get back because fear kept you pacing instead of acting. The opportunities you buried because you let shame convince you weren't worth it. That's not bad luck. That's not fate. That's you being conquered. And if that makes your stomach turn, sit with it. Because until you admit it, nothing changes. But here's the line. Right here, right now. No more excuses. No more, that's just how I felt, so that's what I did. That's not honesty. That's weakness. That's surrender dressed up as self-expression. That crap can end here and now if you choose. From here forward, you fight. You feel, but you don't obey. You bleed, but you don't break. 5 minutes a day, you train for the ambush. Because the ambush is coming. The text that pisses you off. The silence that guts you. The fear that whispers you're not enough. The next missed opportunity because you're not enough. And in that moment, there are only two kinds of people in this world. The conquered, who hand over their lives to a surge of emotion. And the unconquered, who take the hit, feel it, and still choose their next move. So which one are you going to be when it hits? The next storm is coming whether you're ready or not, want it or not, or have prepared for it. And when it does, your answer won't be in your words. It'll be in your reaction. It'll be in your past discipline. It'll be in whether you rule your emotions at the moment or keep letting them rule you. You've seen how emotions hijack your life, how they conquer you if you let them. That's one battle. But the next one, it's about where your attention goes. Because here's the truth. You can't fight if you're scattered. You can't build if you're distracted. You can't win if your focus is split 100 different ways. The next episode is about locking in, learning how to put your full weight behind what matters, and starving the distractions that are bleeding you dry. That's episode 3, the power of focus. Because an unconquered mind doesn't just resist emotions, it aims its energy like a weapon, and that's where the real strength begins. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay in the fight. See you next time.